All right there, everyone. Great to be back with you. We have a wonderful guest back with us, Colin Plume. Colin is the president of Noble Gold. And if you've been with our channel for some time, you know Noble Gold's a good friend to our channel. I know many of you benefited very much from his services. You've told me so, and it's great to hear that. Colin is here to help us make some sense of the extraordinary times we find ourselves in. He's been creating and looking after wealth for his clients and advising them on strategy and the management of their assets for several years. And I know a lot of you responding to these pretty uncertain times by giving gold and precious metals a second look, especially when it comes to your portfolios in retirement. So Colin is here to bring clarity in the midst of confusion. So Colin, welcome back to the channel.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this year I think has been one of the longer years that I can remember. A lot of people say, "Oh my God, it's November already," but I feel as though it's been a long year for a lot of people.
Been a long November, yeah.
It's a long November, and I think the thing that I always try to do as you come up to the end of the year is I always try to forecast what I think is going to happen in 2021 and kind of look at where things can trend. And I think that could be good for a lot of people right now, especially because they want to put this year in the rearview mirror, just in terms of what's happened out there. So, I'm really kind of trying to get a feel for where the markets are going to be and what's going to happen, what's going to trend. And I think that's one of the best things to do when you're sort of in a rut is to think about the future and what's going to happen, next year and maybe the next few years, to start to plot your trajectory for yourself and also your financial future, which is
so we've got a lot of, in a sense, kind of clashing dynamics going on, which is interesting. So you obviously tested election going on, new lockdowns coming in right at the same time they're talking about a vaccine being made, or a couple of vaccines being made readily available. So so give us your sense. I mean, I don't want to be you. That's amazing how to forecast financially going into 2021 with these clashes going on. Just give us a sense, if you can, basically the architecture of your forecast.
Yeah, so I look at money. That's the thing that we, old money, new money, gold, silver, dollars. This is the stuff that we really focus on. And so I just look at what has been trending kind of under the radar, this has been a very big buying of gold for central banks. Russia, China, Poland, Kazakhstan, Germany, they've all been buying tremendous amounts. So the banks are getting back to buying, which has been a big trend that a lot of people aren't aware of. And that's a good sign for people that, follow those things. And they think, well, if the central banks are buying, maybe it's a good time. And also, I think it gives people a lot of confidence that they're buying at a price that's, gold's up 27% today from last year. So they're buying gold at that increased price, right? So they feel comfortable about where that price is. Then you have JP Morgan predicting gold to be at 2,300 by the end of the next year. Bank of America, first month into COVID, said they believe, and they got laughed at, that gold's going to hit 3,000 in 18 months. They came out with that in April. So you have central banks buying, then you have these big institutions saying that gold's a good place to go. So you have a lot of those trends people are looking at. And then what are going to be the trends of the world? Well, I think that, obviously people are working from home more now. They're using gadgets, computers. Things are going more electric. That's really pushing strong. That's why Tesla has been a very hot stock, and everybody's kind of focused. But even things like Zoom or these bikes, Peloton, I mean, everything is focused more on the home. And when you're doing more things at home, a lot of it is data. Is where do they put all this data that's out there safely? And so they're building all these data centers all over the world, and those data centers, they need silver. That's going to be a big need going forward. Is having silver for those components. So you have the big banks buying gold, then you have silver demand just because on our day-to-day use. And then if President-elect Biden is the one that's going to be president, what are sort of his philosophies that could push precious metals one way or another. And I think there's, talk about taxes going up, which obviously would be devastating. And I hope that doesn't happen. And in my opinion, I don't think it will happen. But I think there's things like the Paris Accord agreement. I think that's one of the things that he will focus on. And a lot of that movement in the Paris Accord will be focused on green energy, which obviously is going to help a lot of the precious metals. So I think, if it goes that way with him president, there's a lot of trends that could affect the price of metals and be a boom for that industry. So, and then just the unbelievable debt, we're in the last 4 years, our debt has increased by over 30%. We're $27 trillion in debt right now as a country. So, that's scary. That's a scary number. And the bigger thing is that obviously with all the stimulus that we're sending out there, all this government generosity that's going out to people, there's not a lot of money coming back in. There's not a lot of tax revenue coming back in because people aren't working. So we're sort of in this situation where like everything's going out and kind of nothing's coming back. And kind of like when you buy a house, like, you got to furniture, you got to put stuff on the wall. I mean, everything's going out, and as soon as, a month after you close escrow, you're broke. That's what's happening right now is everything is going out and not a lot is coming back in. And so that's scary. And I think that we've created this debt bubble. It's never going away until we, change our currency. So we're in a position right now where it's in a very tricky predicament in terms of where the economy is going to be in 2021.
Yeah, let's unpack that a little bit. By the way, I love your analogy of being house poor. That's a wonderful one. And lest I forget too, I think I learned from you as well. We're seeing some mandates, requirements for construction in California, aren't we? Coming up, that's going to require.
Yeah. So next year. Anything new construction in California, they're going to require solar panels, whether it's an office building or a shopping center or a residential home. Anything new is going to have solar panels. And I think this move in general is going to be positive because I think, California is a very sunny state. A lot of people could save a lot of money, a lot of bottom line could be, and even the excess energy that's created goes back to the state, which is a good thing. So in the long term, it's a positive, but in the short term, obviously people are going to have solar panels and, they obviously use silver when building those solar panels. Yeah. And it's also going to increase the cost to build, which is tough. So, it's going to make the prices of homes even higher because the people building those buildings are going to have to figure out a way to cover those costs.
Right.
Solar panels. So, but that is the trend. And I think that's the big thing is that we're moving in this trend where we're building a lot of infrastructure right now in the U.S. to make our lives more affordable down the road. But in getting there, there's a tremendous sort of cost to sort of get there.
Right.
Reminds me a little bit of during the Great Depression when, we did the deal and we started doing everything with the parks and the railroads, and we spent all this money to kind of get people back to work. And it was a good thing, but very, very costly. I feel like we're in the same kind of mode right now as we transition into this new world and try to get our costs down as a country. There is going to be a tremendous cost. And I think that we're going to see a lot of the major corporations have some trouble next year because I don't think people are going to have the money to spend the way that they used to. I think Christmas is not going to be the Christmas of old. I think it's going to be a very difficult year for, this, a lot of retailers live on the last 6 weeks of the year from the first week in November to, the day of Christmas. And I think a lot of those companies are really going to struggle this year. I don't think it's going to be the same kind of turnout.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to be spending in the same kind of ways.
Yeah.
So that's going to affect those industries pretty substantially, and just the jobs. I mean, I think a lot of people will get part-time jobs during this holiday season, and a lot of those jobs are not going to be there the way they used to be.
Right. What about, getting back to the unpacking, so you did bring up the central banks. and the role they're playing sort of in this post-COVID economy. They were, central banks took a lead in the past stimulus. They'll take another lead in any new stimulus.
Yeah.
New wave of bankruptcies will inevitably follow a renewed shutdown, and the like. So help us make sense of what role the central banks play in your forecasting of what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately the central banks are going to get hit so hard because so much of the money that they lent was in the form of a loan that will never be paid back. So that money is never going to come back because a lot of those businesses got the loan and are probably going to fold in the next few months. A lot of restaurants are going to fold. A lot of the businesses that need people to foot traffic, they're not going to survive, especially a lot of the small businesses. The small businesses have been hurt pretty dramatically since COVID. That's been a pretty much consistent number through this whole time, is that they just haven't been able to get enough revenue in. I mean, even, some states restaurants are open outside. I mean, it's not enough happening, and people are being more cautious, right? I think, one of the other positives is credit card debt has dropped in a lot of states because people aren't spending the way that they used to. And there's surprisingly people out there that got that PPP money or got that money from the government and actually paid down some of their debt, which is, I think is admirable that that's what they thought to do. I think that's, smart, especially with credit card interest being, anywhere from 17 to 30%.
Yeah.
Getting some of that credit card debt down to a more comfortable level, I think is a smart way to live. But I think what we're seeing is just the way that money is looked at is going to be consistently different because, you look at, PayPal finally accepting Bitcoin as a currency and realizing that this is where people are going. People are moving away from the dollar. It's not people are not going to sit in cash anymore. People are really moving into these alternative assets, and gold and Bitcoin and a lot of these alternative investments have really grown this year. So I'm excited about those new opportunities there. The one area I would say that I'm concerned about from an investment point of view is these micro buying of stocks that has become a big trend. You see things like Charles Schwab has a program now where you can put $5 into like Tesla stock, for instance, which obviously you couldn't afford with $5. These trends, and then you see Robinhood and some of these new apps trending, and they're, it says all these fees, it's free to trade. But then what you realize is that both of these agendas are very similar in that Schwab will let you buy $5 of $1,000 stock, but if you add it and you bought that $1,000 stock and you paid $5 in, you're paying a fee every time you're buying that. And that fee will end up buying in at that total stock will be thousands of percent more than just buying it on a one-time trade. A lot of these Robinhood types of situations, there's a lot of the stock trading is free until you get into leverage accounts. That's where they make the money is leveraging, option trading and things like that. And you've probably read the stories about, millennials or people in their 20s that got over their head and lost way more money than they even had.
Sure.
These and this, Dr. Turley, this is basically just another form of get rich quick. And that's unfortunate because nobody gets rich quick. Right. It doesn't work that way. You have to build, something over time. Right. And, I was reading the statistic, like if you invest, I think it's like $180 or $170 a month from 23 years old into like a regular 401k, you'll be a millionaire at 60.
Yeah.
So
the compound.
You can get there, but people, they want it faster. And so I'm nervous about people trying to latch on to these scenarios because they have these illusions of grandeur. And those are the things that kind of make me worried in terms of where young investors are going. Because that's a scary proposition, because I saw the one guy with Robinhood, he over leveraged, lost a few $100,000 and then took his own life because he just couldn't take on that debt. He didn't want to give the debt to his parents, basically. So I think the key is that look at the fundamentals. Central banks are buying gold. we have a lot of things moving with silver industrial uses. These are safety plays. These are hedges, and people just need to take it one step at a time and try to avoid anything that sounds too good to be true, so to speak.
So you're right, and they got to make their money.
Yeah, you got to make it.
They got to make their money. So yeah, watch out for any kind of free $5 trades and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And I recommend anyone to take a look, because it seems like on face it seems great, but then if you think about it, if the stock's $1,000, you pay $5, and even if they charged you 3% every time, what percentage are you paying over time? And I think that's something that people, they don't think about it, because they want to be in the market. Everybody wants to jump into the market. They want to own Tesla. But, I'll tell you, there's some bank stocks out there, Bank of America and some of these that are 10, 15, $20 that you could buy in one shot, and you're not going to pay all those exorbitant fees. So maybe you don't buy the Tesla. Maybe you don't buy the Google. Maybe you build your way up. But it's better to own something in whole. And that's one of the things that I always liked about gold and what we do. Other people do it a different way. There's ways, I saw there's a big competitor out there that is allowing you to take loans against your gold at, very low rates, they say, which for some people might be good. But I think it's one of these assets that you just want to have debt free. You just want to own it and hold it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's if you're risky in other areas, you're leveraging, or if you're doing all that stuff, you got to have a few things that are going to be there when you need it. And
it's real estate.
Right.
And speaking of, I got a little gift from you guys. This wonderful 1/10 ounce gold coin, American Eagle. So people are not going to they're going to have to get it to see it. It's going to be very small, but you want to tell us a little bit about this, Colin? This is a beautiful.
Yeah, so that is a proof coin, and they make them in 1/10 ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce, and 1 ounce.
Mm-hmm.
They also make it in a 4-coin set. We have all of them if anyone's interested to purchase them. They are in a limited supply, and those coins have never been touched by human hands. So basically, when they make them, they put them in that case so no one's ever touched them, and then you have that certificate of authenticity. Right. If you're doing an IRA with us this month, you're going to get that coin for free. That's just something we wanted to send to people. Really cool. And also, I was telling you before we jumped on that I think it's a great gift for grandkids.
Yeah.
I think to buy, if you have a few grandkids, really nice gift. And I like it. I was mentioning I like it in that case because it's easier to store.
Right.
A lot of times I've had people say, "Oh, I gave a coin to somebody and they lost it." You're not going to lose that coin in that case. Yeah. And where gold's going, and that you buy a few of those for a grandkid, and they go to college in 16 years, 15 years. That coin could be worth $800 or $1,000, and that could be a nice little something to help them get through, and it's something that they probably won't spend right away, which, when it comes to gifts sometimes of cash, that money gets taken away and used really quickly. So,
right. So there's something about gold. You want to hold on to it. You want to hoard it rightly, as it were.
Yeah. So and they're very beautiful coins. So anyone that's, they just need to mention they heard about it on this show. It's not something we're running everywhere, but for your show, listeners, people that are interested, just when they call in, just mention they heard the show here, and as soon as their IRA is taken care of, we ship that directly to their doorstep. Fully insured in a non-discrete package, so it's sort of like a Christmas gift that no one's going to know about. Just for you. If you're married and you don't want to show it to your spouse, that's okay too. It's private. We're going to protect your privacy. So, if you have kids, we won't tell your kids it's for you. It's a gift strictly for you. So. So we're excited about that. And I love giving when I can give away coins to people. So I'm excited that people are going to get it. And I love when you get coins.
I do. I love it too, Colin. Yeah. I love my whenever I get a package from Noble Gold, I do. It feels like Christmas again. And you did mention, just so everybody knows, you mentioned cryptocurrency and so forth. You guys do,
yes.
Yep, you do cryptocurrency services as well.
Yeah, so everything we are going to offer it outside of an IRA next year. February of next year, we're working on it, so you'll be able to buy it outside. But right now, if you have an IRA and you want to buy, we have a number of them. But if you want to buy Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum. We can do it all within the IRA, just like we're doing gold, completely liquid, just like gold. So if someone's looking to do that, we can definitely help them to do it within their retirement. And you can do gold and cryptos. You can do both.
You're right. Right.
Yeah. So
right.
absolutely. And we're excited to do it. So
Yeah, love it. I love it. I love Noble Gold. You guys are wonderful. We're going to have all the information that you would need, well, directly right underneath this video. You just have a nice little link that you can click on. You can clink it too, I guess. You can click on it and go straight to Noble Gold's website. How about a phone number, Colin, if people want to get
877-646-5347. We are a US-based company. We answer the phone. We help you with the paperwork. You know, you're going to get all that service that's been missing, I think, in the world today. So call us. You have questions, you want free information, whatever. We're here. You know, it's a family business, so we're excited to help people and educate them on what we do. And you know, it's a no pressure environment. So if you just want to learn about what we're doing, we can definitely help you. And you know, appreciate obviously our partnership and always good to chat and discuss the markets in the future and the positives in the future.
That's right. Absolutely, Colin. Well, I mean, a big thank you to you as well for the support of this channel. I know, again, a lot of our viewers have commented how much they appreciate Noble Gold and the service you bring to their lives. So you are very appreciated. Thanks again, Colin.
Thank you.